Hi everyone, this is Sudhi here. So in the previous video, we have discussed about Kubernetes architecture and what are the ways to install Kubernetes setup on the cloud, on premises, and the cloud service providers. Okay. So now, so according to the previous video, we have understood the architecture and we have seen how to set up the Kubernetes cluster standalone using Minikube tool. Okay. So today we are going to set up Kubernetes cluster using Kubedium tool. Okay. So let us see what are the prerequisites and what are the things we need to follow and what we need to take into consideration when we are doing a setup of Kubernetes cluster using Kubedium tool. So if you try to recall the yesterday's class, like we have discussed about the things like verify the MAC address and the product UID are unique across the nodes, and all nodes should have the internet connectivity to download the images for setup, right? And we have to disable the swap memory. So that is also one of the major what do we say thing that we have to do. Okay, so if you don't disable the swap memory, your Kubernetes setup will not get happen. Okay, so the bootstrap itself will fail. And ensure that we have at least two vCPUs from 1.16 version. If you don't have a minimum of two vCPUs, you cannot set up a Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so that is the points which we have to remember when you're doing the setup. And the firewall as usual, but in my case, I'm not using any firewall. So all the port numbers will be enabled on my nodes. If you are using a firewall, so these are the list of the port numbers that need to be enabled on the firewall. Okay, so let us jump into the concept like what is a document you have to refer when you are doing a setup of Kubernetes cluster using Kubedium and the rest of the parameters. Now, so here is the official document, and we have this document representing 1.19 version. Okay, so if you look at here, basic things are nothing but first everybody will ask like what is the system requirements. If you look at that, you can see these are the operating systems which are supported for Kubernetes setup, and you can see here 2 GB which is minimum needed for RAM on every node, and two vCPUs or two CPUs or more. Okay, which I have mentioned in my slide, and full network connectivity between all the machines in the cluster which we have discussed, whether it is private or whether it is public, and unique host name, MAC address, product UID on every node. Certain port numbers to be opened, which we have discussed in the bottom, and even in the document itself, it is mentioned. Okay, and we have to enable this particular bridge, what is a filters, net filters in the configuration file. Let me show you how to do that, and then we will do the setup of Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and these are the port numbers which I documented in the slide. Okay, I have took the screenshot of this and I attached in the slide. After that, as I told you, in the backend for Kubernetes, Docker is not the only container runtime interface which it is supported. We have other container runtime interfaces which can be used for Kubernetes. We will discuss this part in the next video. So I don't want to club everything into one single video. Okay. So to later on in the coming videos, I will tell you how to use a different container runtime interface without using Docker for Kubernetes to launch the applications. Okay. Now, right now we will go with Docker. Okay, as a default backend container runtime interface. And these are the tools which need to be installed when you want to set up a Kubernetes cluster using Kubedium tool. So these tools need to be installed on all the nodes, or how many nodes you are using for your cluster to join. So for all the nodes, you have to follow these particular steps, whatever it is mentioned. Okay, till here. Now let me show you one by one what need to be done, and then I will show you what are the packages that are needed to set up your Kubernetes cluster. Okay, using Kubedium tool. Let's jump into the demo. So if you go back to this notes, yesterday we have done a Kubernetes setup using Minikube tool on this particular VM. Now today I took other two VMs in order to do the setup. Okay, so this VM is having 6 GB of RAM and two core CPUs. Sorry, and we have another VM which is created with 3 GB of RAM. Okay, so what I'm going to do is nothing but I'm going to change the memory to 6 GB as well on this particular node. And for this, I can reduce it. I don't want 6 GB for worker. Sorry, I think I've done in the reverse order. Sorry, my bad. So here 3 GB is fine. Okay, 3 or 4, whatever it is. 4 GB. Let's go for 4 GB. Not the approximate 4 GB, somewhere near to that. Okay, and you can see here, if you look at the system settings, I'm using 6 GB of RAM for worker node, and the processor is two CPUs which I have assigned. And coming to the network, bridge. As we seen yesterday, same I'm using the bridge network. Always you need to remember this promiscuous mode should be set to allow all. Okay, so do remember this point. So first of all, enable this, come back here and go to the promiscuous mode and see the option set to allow all. Okay, and save it. So for this VM, I'm having only 4 GB of RAM, but rest of the things are same. Okay, two core CPUs, bridge network, and everything is the same. Okay, now and the size of the hard disk is nothing but it's 60 GB, which I have sent. Okay, so let's spin up these VMs. And let me spin up this as well. Let me log into that. I have set root user and the root password. Once I logged in, let me show you the IP address. So it is using 192.168.0.60. Okay, so that is the IP address of my manager node. If you look at the worker node, the IP address is, just a second, let me log into that. So root and the password is test123. And this was assigned with an IP address called 61. Okay, so there it is 60 and here it is 61. And if you look at the swap memory, by default it is disabled. Okay, you can see here swap memory is disabled. That is the one thing which you have to see it carefully. And next thing is nothing but on the manager node as well. Let me show you what's a swap memory. It's disabled or enabled. You can see here also it is disabled. So I'm good to go. So let me log into this VMs using MobiXterm. Okay, I want to use some remote application in order to log in. So this is my manager node. And let me log into the worker node. Okay, so we have logged into worker node and the manager node, right? So this is my manager. I'm using only two node setup. One is manager node and one is worker node. If you have enough amount of CPUs on your base mission, and you have enough amount of RAM, you can launch n number of worker nodes. It's up to you. Okay, since I don't have enough amount of core CPUs for me to create multiple VMs. I'm using one worker node and one manager node. Okay. So coming to the next point. So what we have to do first, let us verify the internet connectivity. So ping google.com, which we generally do, and -C3. So it will check, verify the connectivity. Yeah, it's done. So we are able to reach to the internet, right? Done. So the basic things which we need, we are done. Now, next thing is nothing but, as I already told you, when you are doing a Kubernetes setup, we need to have a container runtime interface. So what is a container runtime interface we have preferred? By default, we are going with Docker. So what we have done yesterday, like on Minikube, we are trying to do the same thing, right? So we are trying to use a Docker as a container runtime interface for Kubernetes. So let's try to install Docker on both the machines. So if you want the manual steps, how to do it, let us try to do once again, though it is a repetitive process. Let's try to do it so that the people who are watching this video can understand again, like how to install. And one more point, we are trying to install community edition, not an enterprise edition. So first of all, let us verify whether these packages are installed or not. So I could say these packages are not installed, right? So enter. So from this, you understood that there is no old version of Docker which is installed on my VMs. Okay, so I'm good to go and install Docker with the latest packages. So let me try to install the basic minimum required packages to be installed. So I have to do the same thing on the worker node as well. So on the both the nodes, how many nodes you have, or to join the cluster. So all the nodes you have to follow the same steps. The next one is nothing but let's try to install the public key, ZPC key. And here on the worker node, done, right? Now let's try to create a Docker repository on the nodes. So what are the steps I'm showing right now? Everything need to be done on all the nodes. Come back and just run the update command, and after that try to install the packages. So which I explained yesterday. So docker-c is for daemon, Docker daemon package, and docker-c-cli is the client package, and containerd-o is a container runtime interface which is used by Docker. Okay. Let it be done. And so now as per the new as per this particular command, it is automatically creating a repository and it is running the update command. So for us, it is not needed to run the update command once again. So just try to install the Docker packages. On the worker node as well, we have to install the package. After this Docker package is installed, we are good, and let us verify the version of the Docker which we have installed. After that, again, we need to come back to this particular document and we have to follow the steps. So I will tell you like what are the steps we need to follow. So it is almost done. So let's verify the Docker version on this. So Docker hyphen version. You can say it is 19.03.13. So let's verify on the worker node as well. So Docker hyphen version. Done. So now the Docker got installed. So now we are good to go and install the Kubernetes related packages. Not the actually it's not a Kubernetes related packages, to be frank. It's a KubeADM related packages and Kubernetes related client packages. Once we install that, then we will form the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so let's try to go back to the documentation. So here we need to follow these steps. I will follow the steps until update. After that, I will tell you how to verify the versions that are supported by your packages. And then let us say how to install a specific version of Kubernetes. Okay. So let me copy until here. You can just copy paste it. Okay. What it is trying to do, it is installing the minimum packages. After that, it is downloading the ZPC related to your Kubernetes repository. And after that, it is creating a repository, a separate file under source.list.d directory, kubernetes.list. In that, it is adding the entry. And after that, it is running an update command. So as I told you yesterday, when you create some particular new repository on the server of Ubuntu, definitely we have to run an update command. Okay. So let's copy this, go back to the window and just paste it. And here also on the worker node, just follow the same. Just run the update. So let me execute the command to show you like how to verify what are the versions that are provided by your repository. So in the Ubuntu, there is a command called apt-cache policy. Let's say I want to verify one package that is called as kubelet. Okay. So you can see it is providing from 1.5.1 of Kubernetes till, if you scroll up and see, it is providing you the latest version 1.19.2. Okay. So this is how it is providing you the version. So we will be installing 1.19.0. Okay. So we will be installing, let us go for latest version. That's okay for me. Okay. If you want to install a specific version, yesterday I have shown you how to install it. Or if you want a specific version to be installed, let us jump and see. If you don't provide any version, let's say, if you are following this, if you execute this command directly, it will install the latest version. So what is the latest version? As per this particular output, you can see it is trying to install this. In the candidate section, it will tell you what will be installed, what version will be installed. Okay. In the candidate section, installed section, you can see it is none. None in the sense this package itself is not installed. So that's the reason it is none. Got it? If you want a specific version, I'll tell you how to install that. Okay. Before that, I want to explain what is the purpose of these three packages. Okay. If you go back to the documentation, we have kubelet, kubeadm, and kubectl. kubectl is package specific to run the client operations on Kubernetes cluster. If you want to interact with the Kubernetes, you have to have kubectl command. If you want a kubectl command to be there, you need to install kubectl package. As simple as it is. Yesterday we have done the same thing, right? For kubeadm, minikube. For minikube, though we have done the setup of minikube of Kubernetes cluster, but still we have installed kubectl package. Why? Because with that particular command only, we will try to interact to the Kubernetes cluster. Okay. What about kubeadm? kubeadm is the actual tool which we are using to form the Kubernetes cluster. Okay. Using this kubeadm tool, we will try to bootstrap the manager node and the worker nodes, which is called as control plane and compute plane, using this particular tool. And what is kubelet? As I have explained in the architecture, if you go back to the architecture, if you recall that, it is clearly explained that kubelet is a service which will be running on all the nodes who will accept the request to create the pods, okay, on the worker nodes and the master node if it is allowed. Okay, so these are the packages which are a responsibility of each and every package, and this is what we are trying to install. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you install these three packages, your Kubernetes setup is done. No, we have just installed the packages which are needed to form the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, let's go ahead and install. So I'll just do a copy paste, but I will install a specific version. So let's copy from here to here. And before pasting, I want to install specific version called, let's say, instead of using 1.19.2, I'll go for 1.19.1. Okay, so let me try to use that. I'll be using this. Okay, so you have to paste like this. You need to give equal to and that particular version number. That's it. It will install only that particular package version. Okay, if you don't give anything, it will install the latest one. What is your latest one? 1.19.2. Okay, so keep it this aside. We'll just do a copy paste to the worker node as well. See, what are the command you are using? The same command you have to follow and execute on the worker node. Okay. Because all the nodes should have the same version. After that, once these packages are installed successfully, we are going to lock that. Lock in the sense, it should not do an auto upgrade on this particular packages. Okay, I have to control that, which means that if there is no, it is not logged, what will happen when there are some auto upgrades run on the server? So immediately it will upgrade these packages as well. So if these are upgraded, it might create some mess up on the nodes. Okay, few packages might not be supported, what do you say, some dependency packages might get a conflict. So that's the reason I don't want to do an upgrade automatically. So I have to do it manually. So that's the reason we are trying to hold this particular packages using this particular command. So let's go to this. So I have not prepared any documentation for this because I want to show you like how to see the official document itself in order to do the Kubernetes setup using KubeADM tool. Okay, for this, creating a documentation, putting the slides and all, it's not needed. So directly you can refer the official document. You have to get habituated to this. Okay. So it is done. Now I have to execute this command to hold it. Okay. This one also to hold. Okay. So how will you verify your packages installed with that version? So in the Ubuntu operating system, dpkg-l pipe grep, you have to do something like -e kubectl, kubeadm, and kubelet. Okay, you can see these packages are installed, and these are installed with the version which we have specified. Let's verify on the worker node as well. Okay, so everything seems to be good. Now I need to bootstrap my master node. First we have to bootstrap the master node, and then we have to join the worker nodes to form the cluster. Okay, so let's see how to do that. First and foremost thing is nothing but, let's try to verify the IP address. What is the subnet mask we are using right now? So we are using 192.168.0.0/24 it is, which means that it will have totally 253 IP addresses in this particular subnet mask. Okay. Now, one more point. So we need to use kubeadm init command in order to bootstrap the manager node. But here I want to pass some specific options. Okay. For my Kubernetes, for my pods, the applications which are getting deployed, I want a specific subnet mask that need to be used in order to bootstrap the, in order to assign the IP address to my pods, which are generally call it as pod. Anyway, we'll discuss later. But for those pods, in order to get an IP address, I want to use a specific subnet mask. So how I can use that? So you need to use a private IP address. Okay, so I will be using some private network. So it can be a class A, class B, or class C. So I'll be using class A private network. So 10.244.0.0/16. That is a subnet mask which I want to use. So how will you pass that? So I'll show you. So if you give -help command, there will be one option called, we need to use this option, as well as where is a pod network CIDR? This one. So these are the two options which I want to use. Other options, I'm not using anything. I want to go with the default settings. I don't want to do anything else apart from this. Okay. So let me copy this one. What is the purpose of this? Let me explain. So kubeadm init, paste it. Here I'm telling that for my Kubernetes cluster, I'm saying that please use this IP address uh, in order to use this IP address for API server to interact, so that my worker nodes, manager nodes, everybody, the components will try to interact using this particular IP address, and that particular IP address should be reachable. Okay. Obviously, I'll be using the manager node IP address. So 192.168.0.60. Okay. And the next option which we want to use is, for my applications, which are installing in the Kubernetes cluster, I want to use a specific CIDR. Okay. So that is nothing but 10.244.0.0/16. Why I'm using this, I will tell you. Why? Because I'm already using 192.168 series. That is also a class C private network. Okay, though it is internally my router is having this private network, but still I will be able to communicate to the internet, and internet communication is possible. Intra and internet is possible. So that's the reason I'm using this. So the same series of IP address, I cannot use it. It will create a mess up. Okay. So that's the reason I'm using a different subnet mask from class A, private network, that to a private network for my pods. Okay. So it will take some time to complete. Once it is done, I'll tell you like what are the things we need to follow. And as I told you, there is a container network interface which we have to install. Okay, so we are using Calico as a container network interface. Okay, so let's try to see that in between. Once this is going on, so let me show you how to do that. If you click on this particular next page using Kubedium to create a cluster, it will show you and it will explain the same thing what I have done. Kubedium init command, and you need to pass the arguments. You can see here API server advertise address, okay, and the pod network and all it will show you. Once it is done, it will ask you to configure the networking as well. So let me try to open the documentation. Here, if you see how to implement the Kubernetes networking model. So it supports so many networks. Among this, I want to use a project Calico. Let me go to that. If you scroll down a bit, you can see here project Calico. So click on this. I'm showing you step by step so that you will not get confused. If you have any questions, please comment below so that I can reach you out and or I can reply to that particular comment. Okay. So here we need to install project Calico. Just click on install Calico for Kubernetes and quick start. As simple as it is. Quick start. If you scroll down, it will also tell the same thing. How many processes need to be there, what should be the size of the disk, which operating system is supported. Everything is the same. And this I'm going to explain in the next video related to Calico. What is this policy? What is this IPAM? What is CNI? What is overlay? What is routing? And what is data source? Okay. So don't get confused right away. So don't think more about this. Just follow the documentation. That's it. And you can see here they are trying to launch with this subnet. This subnet is already used by my nodes. I don't want to use the same network for my pods. So that's the reason I'm using class A network. Okay. So since you are doing that, what you have to do, this command you can execute directly. Okay. You can execute this particular command. You can execute it. Okay. Once the minimum bootstrap is done. See, once this task is done successfully, we have to follow in a sequence order actually. Let us wait until it is done. You can see it is done. So now what we have to do? So we have to see your Kubernetes control plane has initialized successfully. So which means that your control plane has been done successfully. You have to execute these three commands. One is creating a directory under your home root user, like what are the user you have logged in. Under that, it will create a directory called hidden file called .kube. After that, it is trying to copy a file which is present here to this particular directory which we have created above. And after that, it is changing the ownership with the user which we have logged in. So these are the three commands which we have to execute first. Copy and paste. That's it. Done. Okay. So now you will see a file present under directory. Done. After this, it is telling you, you should now deploy a pod network to the cluster. So what pod network we are trying to use? Calico. Okay, so that is a add-on which we are using for our Kubernetes cluster to have a network settings. Okay, networking in our Kubernetes cluster. So go back to this, first copy this and paste it here. Okay, once that is done, after that, there is a second YAML file which you need to install. Without installing it, just copy, download it, and we have to do some modification. Why? Because here we have used a different subnet mask for our pod networking. Okay, so in order to justify that, we have to update this YAML file before deploying it. Okay, so open this particular custom resource.yaml, and here if you see, it is using CIDR a different series, and we have used a different series. So change it 10.244. Okay, so now just close this file and come out. And then let's deploy this. So kubectl command, I told you, right, why we need a kubectl package. Why? Because you have to execute kubectl command in order to deploy some applications on the cluster, Kubernetes cluster. Now create -f, sorry, f custom resource.yaml. Done. Once this is also done, if you scroll down a bit, there is a last command that we have to execute, which is nothing but if you want to join the worker nodes to this particular master, you have to execute this command. Go to the worker node, copy this, go to the worker node and just execute this. That's it. Okay. So it is trying to reach to your master node using this IP. So that's the reason we have bootstrapped our control plane node with this particular IP address. Okay. And it is saying you that it is finished. Go back to the control plane node and execute kubectl get nodes. It will tell you like how many nodes have joined to your cluster. Okay. Including master as well. So kubectl get nodes. So now they are not ready because I'll tell you the reason. Some applications are still running, though they are trying to create it. Kubernetes components. Okay, how to verify it? kubectl get pods. Those applications will be running as a pod. I'll tell you what is a pod and all next, everything in detail in the next video. But let's see what are the commands we have to use in order to verify whether my Kubernetes cluster is set up properly or not. Kube-system. So those pods will be under this namespace. You can see they are still in pending. So 2 pods are in pending core DNS. So let it be done. And there is one more namespace for networking, that is Tiggeria operator. So image pull back off error. So let's try to see what went wrong. Okay, so this image is not able to pull this image. Okay, that's fine. And so that's the reason it is telling me that image pull back off error. Okay, it's not an issue from our side. So it's saying something like, okay, so this is how we need to troubleshoot. See, this pod is not yet created. It is showing me image pull back off error. So what command I have used? kubectl describe pod. It is a pod actually. So slash pod slash or space and the pod name -n. It is in this particular namespace. So that's the reason I gave this. You can see it is telling me that the image pull got failed. First it should pull the image, then the container will get created, right, in the background. So it got failed. Image pulling itself, it got failed. So I guess, so that's the reason the core DNS is pending due to that. And namespaces are, I want to look for the pods under this namespace. Uh, me try to delete this, and so obviously it will recreate it. So kubectl delete pod. Now I gave a space. Okay. So if the pod is deleted, again it will try to recreate it. So maybe in the recreation process, it might pull the image properly. So that is what I'm expecting here. But let's see how it goes. Error image pull. So I could see there is an issue with 1.10.4 image from which is trying to pull from the repository. So then I went to the repository and I queried it. I could see 1.10.4 is not available. So what I will try to do is nothing but I will try to change the manifest file, and let me show you how to troubleshoot this. So I'm able to pull this image. So I will try to update this thing into the deployment of the Tigerair. So how to do that? Let's see. So yeah, so kubectl, let me try to delete this first. So let me copy this. Instead of applying this file, directly applying this file, what I will do first, I will download how I did for similarly for the other YAML file, right? So first I will try to download it. Go to the file, open this file, go to the bottom, look for that image. Yeah, so here is the image. Here it is trying to use this 1.10.4. I just want to use 1.3. Okay, save this file, come out of this, and let's apply this. That's it. -F. I'm expecting this to be resolved. This issue will resolve the problem. Yeah. So it's under container creation process. Let's wait. You can see now it is running. So now there is no issue. So because this issue is solved, now you will see what are the namespaces we have. Tigerair operator and Calico. There is no namespace called Calico-system. So let's me try to go back to this documentation. And here, this we have already created it. This is already executed. Maybe, yeah. kubectl get all, get namespaces. You don't have anything like Calico-system. So still that code DNS parts are still in pending state. I'm wondering why your operator is running successfully. So then there is another YAML file. Let's try to deploy that. I think I've already did it. So it is done. Now you can see it is getting initialized. So now we can see Calico-system namespace was created. So the problem which I identified is nothing but this is strange that when I'm doing the video, like we got this kind of issue. But anyways, this is a part of troubleshooting. So what I've done, what are the image I am having the issue? So then I realized that it is, so let me try to show you what I've done, how I identified the issue. Simple. Here it is not able to pull this image, right? So that is an error which you are able to see in the describe command. So I copied this image and I did a docker pull command. So here also it is failing, which means that it is not able to pull the image and it is saying manifest unknown, which means that it is not able to identify this image with this tag. Then what I have given, I given a try with 3. Okay, so then it was able to pull the image. Then I understood that, okay, so let me, instead of applying this particular YAML file directly, so which YAML file? This YAML file. Okay, since it is using 1.10.4, first I downloaded this YAML file and then I modified the image section in the last of the file, and then which you have seen in the just now, right? I modified it to 1.10.3, and after that I was able to do it. And then I applied this particular YAML file after doing my modifications, right? Locally, I downloaded it and I modified the subnet mask and then I deployed it. Okay. So now everything seems to be cool. So let's verify once again, all the pods are running or not. So though it will take some time, obviously. Okay. It should download the image and then it should create the container. So it is step-by-step process. Okay. So let us wait for a few minutes. Once it is done, we are good to go. I think we can use this option for us. We can use -w, which is nothing but watch. Okay, so it will show you some real-time output of the status of the pods. You can see it is running. So let it be done. I cancelled it. Now verify this. So only one pod is pending, that is Kube controller, Calico Kube controller. So let us wait. Only when these pods are running, which pods? In Tigera operator namespace, Calico-system namespace, and Cube-system namespace. When in all these three namespaces your pods are up and running, then your status of the pods will be shown as ready status. Okay, kubectl get nodes. You can say now those are in ready status. Why? Because your pods are created successfully. You can see all the pods which are belongs to your Kubernetes cluster are running successfully. Calico for networking, Core DNS for DNS part, etcd, API server, control manager, kube proxy, kube scheduler, and Tigera operator, which is for Calico. Okay, so all these pods are running successfully. So that's the reason you're able to see that these nodes are shown in running status. Okay, so this is how it looks. So today we have seen entirely about Kube ADM tool and how to set up your Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so thanks for joining the video. And so try to practice it and let me know if you are facing some issues in the comment section. Okay, thank you.